Hello everybody and welcome to the Inn. We've just sat down, we've watched the final dump, both in the stream and on Facebook, and we're still kind of sorting things out, but we do have enough to kind of go through this video, because it's going to take a while until we get to the end part. So let's just start off with Mirage Caller. Mirage Caller is a 3-cost, 2/3 priest minion with the battle cry, choose a friendly minion, and summon a 1/1 copy of it. This is just good overall. It's a better Herald Volage. You basically have control over which minion you want to get a copy of. This could be a Death Rattle minion. This could be a minion where you want the effect to be continuous. And overall, this is just a decent card. I'm not sure how much we're going to see of it, because there's a lot of other 3-cost minions that Priest could play, but it's pretty decent depending on what your deck is and what your purpose is and what your goals are when you're actually playing your deck.
I agree. If anything, I'm trying to figure out, like, because the immediate thought is let's dream big and let's go Mirage Caller into Prophet Velen, and then Prophet Velen being able to do massive damage to face. Like I said, that's like a big kind of like dream thing. You might be able to pull something off like this in Wild, but realistically, to kind of like rein it in and drop it back into a more realistic style, or at least setting, I could see it being played alongside like Crystalline Oracle to be able to like double up and triple up on those. As far as 2 costs go to make a copy of a 1/1 of it, there's not very many. Maybe you'd want to make a copy of Blood Mage Thalanos.
I think we're mainly considering later costs. This is basically a minion that can be played at any time. And you're probably more likely to play him in the late games, mid to late games. So, I mean, just thinking, well, 1 or 2 costs. I don't think that's where you really want to go. And can we please stop talking about Prophet Velen OTKs? Those are very rare. Priest, I think, maybe did it once. Mainly, Priest is not concerned about Prophet Velen OTKs. Everybody going, look what I can do with Prophet Velen. Guys, Priest has never cared about Prophet Velen. Priest will probably never care about Prophet Velen. Let's talk about the more likely scenarios of you using this on your Priest of the Feast, or on some of these Death Rattles, or, you know, on this or on that. Heck, you know, if Priest wants to build an OTK deck, they don't pick Prophet Velen, they pick Inner Fire. So, can we please stop considering Prophet Velen when we're talking about Priest cards, because he's never been a thing, ever?
You know, the best part being is you're going off on this rant and tangent when I'm the one who suggested it. I'm the only one who's really thought thought
Except, I almost always, when I'm looking at card discussions on Priest cards, they start talking about Prophet Velen OTKs as if that's ever been a thing.
Well, if anything,
it's like, if you
found your special button.
It's like, if you can pull it off, cool. But when's the last time you built a deck for Prophet Velen OTK?
You've not. So, to move away from this entirely, I'm going to go ahead and move on to Corrupting Mist. It's 2-cost Warlock spell that allows you to corrupt every minion and destroy them at the start of your next turn. Well, Doomsayer, just, at least as far as Warlock goes, just got a lot less useful. 'Cause it's just, I can Corrupting Mist, and bleh, there goes your board. Bye, board. And I hope that my board doesn't have anything on it either, and that it's bye, my board. As far as Corrupting Mist goes, it's really going to depend on how things shape out as far as the metagame goes. It's very useful, and it does have a strong use, but as far as I've got to see how the meta shapes out before I can actually say heads or tails on Corrupting Mist. Bob?
I mean, it's definitely, there's been some discussion about discussion about Corrupting Mist, and they definitely have a point. It just affects the minions on the board when you cast it, so they can easily play minions that are not going to die. And unlike Doomsayer, which can kind of give you the initiative, Corrupting Mist is just going to keep the initiative on their side. It's good for a guaranteed board clear where you don't have that with Doomsayer. This might be something that you combo together. I still think that with Warlock, still think Warlock's going to run this. I really do. Because sometimes the guaranteed kill is worth it, even if they are going to go to your face. I think you want to combo this with something else, but the guaranteed kill to get rid of the stuff on their board, even if they're going to play stuff on the next turn, can be worth it, I think, in certain instances. So I think Warlock will play this. I don't think this is a card to discount. I don't think this is a card that's going to replace Doomsayer, because Doomsayer has its own uses. Because Doomsayer is guaranteed, even if they play something, Doomsayer will kill it, while Corrupting Mist will not. But Corrupting Mist is guaranteed to go off, where with Doomsayer they could kill it and negate that effect. So I think this will see play. I'm just not sure how. But I do think that depending on the way the deck is crafted, this could be a really interesting card. Maybe not an alternative to Doomsayer, but maybe something you work in alongside it, because I think you want to combo this off with something else. Like maybe Dirty Rat something, Corrupting Mist. They still have to get through that taunt, and those things are going to die.
Just don't Dirty Rat the Deathwing. Or maybe do Dirty Rat the Deathwing. Yeah. Especially if you're just going to Corrupting Mist it, but don't Dirty Rat turn 2. Stop Dirty Ratting turn 2, you idiots.
Yeah. Next up, we have Lost in the Jungle, which is a 1-cost Paladin spell that summons 2 1/1 Silverhand recruits. Pretty decent. You get 2 1/1s for 1 cost. Paladin doesn't have a lot of stuff right now that really interacts with Silverhand recruits. That's more in Wild, but just the fact that Paladin needs to, and they want to pack in some low-cost stuff to get minions on the board, gain board advantage, board control. Lost in the Jungle is a good way to do it. It's definitely a lot better than your hero power, so I wouldn't discount this card just yet. I'm not sure if it's one that that Paladins will be using necessarily, but I don't think it's a bad card either.
Oh, most certainly. I mean, like, if anything, just to kind of like just jump on the Wild bandwagon real quickly. Being able to spit out a butt-ton of Silverhand recruits, or at least being able to just spit out maybe like a few for that matter, then to be able to like quartermaster them going into the wild scene, that's great. For those people who love their secret paladin and being able to keep like a sticky board, or at least, a constant board in the wild area, this is the card that you're potentially gonna maybe run a one copy of at best, because you still have Muster for Battle, which is the overall better play anyway. But as far as standard goes, I am conflicted, because I like Lost in the Jungle, especially with one of the later cards that we'll get to. But for right, it's just one of those, I keep going back and forth on it. Because, like, I can see, like, a turn 3 of going Knife Juggler, Lost in the Jungle, Swonk, Swonk. And plus, this whole ideal, or at least this whole thing with Paladin wanting to buff its minions with its new quest. I'm just sitting here, I'll put it in playable for right now, and that's where I'll have it. Are we good there?
Yeah.
Alright, Molten Blade. 1 cost, 1 attack, 1 use. Each turn this is in your hand, transform it into a new weapon. Warrior exclusive. Alright. I know, if anything, when it comes to, like, Molten Blade, especially for Standard right now, you've got the dream of picking up something like Doomhammer, another Arcanite Reaper, another Fiery War Axe, and like those, and Gorehowl. Those are your 4 big dream cards. I would throw in the True Silver Champion as a 5th, just for like a top 5 to round it out. And then you've got things like the Twilight Hammer, Stormforged Axe, and just other cards, or these other weapons that can go along with this. I don't see Warrior conceivably running this. Because, like, if you're Pirate Warrior, for example, you've already got that deck refined as it can be. So, adding in something that will give you an extra weapon, yeah, sure, that's nice to think and dream about. But what are you going to want to either take out, or what's going to potentially rotate out for you that you would want to put in? Like, sure, Finley's rotating out. Molten Blade? Maybe. I don't know. A Control Warrior deck potentially running this? There's too much randomness to be able for you to be able to pick up and just go, aha, I want that weapon. Shit, I do not have the mana for it. So now it's just sitting there watching it keep shuffling around in your hand to be able to just get back to the weapon that you want. Maybe you play this and then, like, coin upgrade just for, like, the quick bleh, but I don't see it being played going the long term, at least for right now. Bulb.
I think it will be played. I don't think it will be played widespread, like you said. Like certain builds are already optimized. But I think I can see Control Warrior possibly playing it as a potential answer later on in the game. I could see different warriors just playing it just to have options. This card provides options. Kind of like Shifter Zeros provide options of minions. We actually had decks that did run that minion. But I think more decks will consider running this over Shifter Zeros. And you're saying, well, Control Warrior wants, stability. Really? The Control Warrior that ran Elise Starseeker wants stability. I think this is a late game card. I think Control Warrior might run this. I think that they're gonna hold. I think they'll hold on to this for a potential late game answer. If they need a weapon and it has something that'll help them, that they can play it. I think that people are sleeping on this. I don't think this is going to be a widespread card, but I think certain decks, potentially control decks, will run this card. Yes, there are other good weapons, but this is a weapon that can provide an answer when you have none. And that can be very important in control matchups. So yes, I think this weapon is going to be played.
I see your point. I really do. It's just with... Because you did use the Elise treasure hunter from the League of Explorers.
Mm-hmm.
You make a point there, but with how things are going with Ungoro now, especially with all the stuff that we've gotten to see, you've also got to stop and think with Control Warrior. They have to sit down and now actually think and start to potentially figuring out how they can start being more proactive. Because if they try to sit back and play the fatigue warrior style, they're going to lose their asses because Jays are just going to keep going, I am here and I am here to stomp you into the dirt. You cannot play the fatigue game with Control Warrior going forward at this point. Like, let's make sure we put that out there, and let people know. You cannot play Fatigue Warrior anymore. Stop and just deal with it. Now, in a proactive Control Warrior, yes, I can see Molten Blade. Because of the reasons you stated. So, I'm gonna wait. I'm still gonna wait and see where it goes. It may, like I said, it may be a one-of, if anything.
Oh, yeah, I don't think you run 2 of it. I think you run 1.
Yeah,
if you run any at all, you run 1.
Yeah, there's no fucking way you run 2. Especially when you've got the Fiery War Axe at 2, and you've got your Gore Howl for your Control Warrior, especially if you're going proactive.
Yeah.
You do not want to keep clogging your deck with more useless crap.
Exactly. You're gonna want to run your 2 Fiery War Axes. You're gonna want to run a Gore Howl, and you hold this one off to the side and say, if things go bad, if I need an answer that aren't these anything I have, this card could come in handy.
Especially with like Fool's Bane, if it rolls Fool's Bane,
Yep.
and plus if you decide to run like Vital Illusion. Like I said, the deck's gonna evolve, most certainly, but different discussion, different time.
Yep. Up next, we have the Marsh Queen, which is the Hunter quest. The quest is play 7 1-cost minions, and your reward is Queen Carnassa. Now, Queen Carnassa is a 5-cost 8/8 beast with the battle cry, shovel 15 raptors into your deck. Those raptors are called Carnassa's Brood. They are 1-cost 3/2 beasts with a battle cry, draw a card. So these things will just come out and swarm. And, yeah, this is a pretty meta-defining card. I think more and more people are starting to realize that. Like, when it was first released, they're like, oh, yeah, whatever. But now I think they're starting to realize with what we're starting to see in Ngoro, and we'll be getting to that, this is going to be, this is probably going to be one of your, this is going to be probably one of the top Hunter decks that are going to be played, are going to be these Marsh Queen decks, these Raptor decks. I know it's a deck that I'm going to be playing around with. I've had to reconceptualize this deck several times already, and this is a very powerful quest. I think Hunter will be able to complete this actually pretty quickly. I think Carnassa is going to just be this. Queen Carnassa is just going to be this big blind on the board, and people are going, well, they'll kill her, big game Hunter, whatever. But here's the point: Carnassa is just to get the Raptors in your deck. And then with the Raptors, you can do all sorts of things, like we were talking about with, I think, Tolvir Warden. Have we talked about that yet? I think we have.
The Tolvir Warden, the 5-cost.
Yeah, we talked about
the 2/1/1s.
Yeah,
yeah, that was last video.
We talk about Tolvir Warden or Tundra Rhino. You're gonna have all these cards ready, these other minions ready to just proc off of these Raptors. And when that happens, yeah, have fun. This is a very cool quest. This is probably the first quest that was released where I got actually really excited, and I am for sure going to make sure I'm going to craft this quest, or hopefully draw this quest. And this is going to be a deck that I am going to be running and going to be messing around with. I am really looking forward to it.
Oh my god. Seeing this, and then seeing some of the other stuff that was also released today in the big dump, plus with one of the combo ideas that people have already kind of conceptualized with being able to make Queen Carnassa just as optimal as you can. Like, just the idea of being able to go, okay, I'm going to completely and utterly erase my deck, Queen Carnassa, and get 15 Raptors into the deck. And I don't know what turn it'll be on, but being able to just go, okay, Tundra Rhino, Carnissa's Brood. I've got a beast that not only is a 1-drop and draws me a card, but it also has charge now. So it's just drop, draw, charge, drop, draw, charge, and then just spend my mana for that turn. Go. Depending on, like, how much mana I will have going forward, just the, I keep hearing it in my head, but it's now just trying to figure out a way to make it sound like a dinosaur screech of everyone get in here, because you've got a different style of potentially playing Patron. And it's just, now we're going in this direction, and it's just, with Hunter finally has not only love again, but it's just got this ability to be able to go off. And personally, I love it. Hunter, you have been sufficiently missed.
And now everyone will fear the Raptor.
So next up, to continue on the Hunter train, we have Crackling Razormaw. It's a 2-cost, 3/2 battle cry, adapt a friendly beast. So, you know, I'm going to play my alley cat, or my Raptor Hatchling, or just anything that costs 1, that's a beast, and then I'm adapt it. It's going to be your replacement for your King Zellic, which, rip King Zellic, you will be missed in the standard rotation, or you may not be, depending. Your Joust mechanic was very much not warmed and welcomed as far as Joust goes, but different discussion for a different time. But yeah, Crackling Razormaw, I like it, especially if I put it with something like Kindly Grandmother as well. Oh, it just, the level of sick nasty you can get with it. Bulb.
Yeah, this is a Hunter card minion that has a lot of potential. I think that no matter the Hunter deck, I think it is going to see a lot of play. And it's actually kind of exciting. So, yeah, get ready to hate Hunter again. Oh. Up next we have King Mosh. King Mosh is the Warrior Legendary, which is a 9-cost, 9/7 beast with the battle cry, destroy all damaged minions. Control Hunter. A Control Hunter in-game win con, with you being proactive. You have to set this up and then wipe them out. And with the tools that control that warrior
Bob.
What?
Stop.
What?
Control Warrior.
I know, I realize. Control Warrior. I knew what I was saying. You knew what I was saying. Screw you guys if you didn't know what I was saying. Control Warrior. Warrior has the tools. I was about to say Warrior has the tools. You know who has the tools? Warrior! They have all the tools. And now they will kill your board, and then they will kill you, and you'll go cry in the corner because you said Control was dead, and now Jades are dead. Bye-bye. We done now?
Okay, hang on. King Mosh.
No more Jades.
With the ability to be able to play Whirlwind and then drop King Mosh, it does help the ideal of making your Control Warrior more proactive and taking care of your problematic deck that people have whined and cried and boo-hooed about with Jades. This is your helper, and at least one of your helpers, to be able to forward your goal of being able to actually play Control Warrior again. Stop your whining. Stop your crying. Use this and adapt.
And whatever you
seriously.
do, don't go fatigue.
Do not go fatigue.
Fatigue bad. Repeat after me. Fatigue bad. Ooga booga. Move on.
Next up, we have Small Raptor.
Correction, Eddie. Raptor Hatchling. They changed the name.
Really? They changed the name?
Yeah, you said correctly a little bit ago.
Yeah. So, thankfully, and thank you for correcting me on this.
No problem. Now going on a rant.
Raptor Hatchling. 1 cost. 2/1. Hunter exclusive. Death Rattle. Shuffle a 4/3 Raptor into your deck. Hello, the Marsh Queen quest helper. Hello, being able to put a 1-cost 4/3 token into the deck, which is the Small Raptor.
No, the token is called the Raptor Patriarch.
Oh, Raptor Patriarch, excuse me. I'm getting all the names wrong.
They renamed everything.
They did, and it's just... You know, this card, alongside with all this other Hunter love and support, Hunters are going to come back full force. I already see it. And if anything, on one end, I love it. On the other end, shoot, this is going to suck. Because it's just like, you kind of get used to not seeing a deck for, or at least not seeing a class for a long while. And now you can see this resurgence of it, and it's coming back with a vengeance. So, if anything, Raptor Hatchling, you're going to run 2 copies of this bad boy. It's very balanced as a 1-drop as well. Bulb.
Raptor Hunter. This Raptor gives me a bigger Raptor, and that Raptor gives, and then Raptors and Raptors and Raptors and Raptors. They summon more Raptors, and the Raptors will eat your kidneys. And yeah, be afraid. Be very, very afraid. Raptor Hunter is coming. They're coming for you. Start crying now, kiddies.
It's gonna be so good.
Oh, it is gonna be so good. Terrorscale Stalker is a 3-cost 3/3 Hunter minion with the battle cry, trigger a friendly minion's death rattle. You know what's better than 1 4/3 Raptor being shuffled into your deck? 2 4/3 Raptors shuffled into your deck. Ha 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 ha. Sucks to be you. I'm not for sure if this will be included into Raptor Hunter. I would like to imagine it will be. I do have plans for this bad boy, and I am very excited about it. So yeah, this is a cool card.
Now, see, the thing being is like, I understand why people, if anything, kind of are up in arms where Terrorscale Stalker is concerned. It is a weaker Princess Huron, yes. And the thing that people, at least from what I've seen, are getting just up in arms about is the wording on it. Trigger a friendly minion's death rattle. Guys, it's trigger the death rattle. You're not killing the minion. You're just going, hey, this death rattle effect, go off sooner. The minion stays, and probably it still gets to keep its actual death rattle effect while it's on the board. It's just, you're going, hey, activate it again. Just, boop, push the button, and it activates. That's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the guide to how to understand how to play a card. Effects are straightforward. Don't worry about how it looked like, the effect looked like on this other minion. The effects tend to be straightforward. If they're not straightforward, they outright tell you when they're revealed what they do, or it's something you experiment with. Always assume the effect is straightforward. If you're not assuming the effect is straightforward, there's something wrong with how you're evaluating this game. This is a good card. You can run 2 of these in your deck, which makes it pretty valuable. And it's not a legendary, it's a rare, unlike Princess Hurrah. So, get over yourselves.
It's not even really just that. It's just, like, there are confusing things. Like, I completely understand being confused by the Rogue quest. I completely understand that. So, like, that is nowhere near straightforward to be able to be explained.
Yeah, but they actually do explain how that works.
Yes, they explain it. And plus, you can also have to kind of, like, go and just make sure, like, hey, did it work like this? Or, you know, does this work like this with this? To understand certain interactions. And I can understand that. But with something like Terrorscale Stalker, this was straightforward. So there should have been no confusion at all. But are we good at least on that?
Oh, of course we're good on that.
Alright, next card we've got
did you want me to call them whiny baby some more? Because I can do that.
No. Next card we have is Thunder Lizard.
I'm in that kind of mood.
It is a 3-cost, 3/3 neutral with the battle cry, if you played an elemental last turn, adapt. And it is also a beast. Alright, so Thunder Lizard. I'm taking a look at you, and you throw off my potentiality of being able to go crazy just playing pure elementals. Now, the ideal might be to play like an elemental zoo deck, which, depending on how things shape out and how people want to kind of take their decks and theory craft them, this could be something very useful to you. However, as far as your elemental purists, who are more than likely going to probably stick within the actual tribe, I don't think you're going to be playing this card. Unless you're looking to go incredibly, like, aggro elemental for some reason, which, not sure how that'll work just yet, but we'll see how things shape out. But overall, I think Thunder Lizard is a playable card for something like Zoo Elemental. So, Bulb.
I'm going to disagree with you. I don't think people are going to play Zoo Elemental. Yeah, and who would run that exactly? Maybe Mage. Does Mage really want to run Zoo Elemental? And if you're playing Shaman, I think you're going straight up Elementals. Look, guys, this is not like 12-year Stone Shaper, where basically there is an incentive for you to play it off your curve, even though it's not an Elemental. Thunder Lizard, adapt's not a good incentive. I'm sorry, it's not. You have much better options to play during this turn. So I really don't see this being played a whole lot. Even like the whole idea of Elemental Zoo, I think that's still, you're not going to have as many elementals as you're saying you have, and it's really not going to set things up. I just don't see it.
Hey, the only reason I say Elemental Zoo is because the #1 class that plays Zoo being Warlock.
Yeah.
And you never know.
But are there enough elementals for Warlock to run it, rather than just run a different type of Zoo? They could straight up run a straight up adapt Zoo. I don't think they really need elementals for that.
They could. But it's just right now, like I said, it's seeing how right now it's going to be seeing how the meta shapes out. Because like I said, I don't even know. I'm at that point of just I don't even know. But like, hey, it's an idea, and that's what I've always loved. Is like, hey, it's an idea.
So next up, we have Lightfused Stegodon, which is a 4-cost, 3/4 Paladin Beast with the battlecry, Adapt Your Silverhand Recruits. Maybe Lost in the Jungle? To be fair, I think this has more of a use in Wild with the Silverhand Recruit deck than it does in Standard. It could come in handy with Standard, depending on what you want to do. Could be a nice stopgap measure, maybe just something you put into a Paladin deck, see where it goes. But I don't think this is going to get a wide use, just with the type of Paladin decks that are going to be kind of out there. So it could find some use. I just don't think it's going to have a wide use in Standard. I think it's going to be more played in Wild.
I full-heartedly agree with the idea of, yes, it's definitely going to be thrown out there for the Wild to kind of take and test and play around with. And then my brain kickbacks and goes, you know, someone might be crazy enough to actually try to make that work, or at least make the deck work in Standard. And then it goes, no, you idiot, stop trying to do this. Because it just, while it's nice. It's nice for those Silverhand Recruits. It really is. Because, like, let's say turn 6. We go Lost in the Jungle, and then this. You've got 5 minions on board. 4 of them are about to get smacked with Adapt. And depending on what you adapt them with, well, we've got a whole new ball game. Like, you can make it to where they get the Death Rattle, you get +1, or not +1, but the 2/1/1 plants. So it's like, even if you kill or at least try to wipe my board, I still get bored.
So essentially you create Hydra.
You do this just crazy sort of idealistic kind of thing like that. It's just, you may kill it, but it's just going to come back twice as strong. And it's not going to matter. Nah, 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 nah. But really, I think where it will sufficiently thrive is in Wild, because you're going to be able to, depending on your curve, like, you could go turn 1, Lost in the Jungle. Turn 2, tap. Turn 3, being able to play Muster for Battle. Turn 4, this. And just depending on how things shape out, as long as you keep a sustainable board, this thing is stronger in Wild than it is in Standard. So go crazy with it in Wild. Heck, I may give it a spin in Wild.
And don't forget the Quartermaster and all of his other buffing buddies.
That's turn 5, and then just, you can see the heavy potential. We good there. So the next card we have is Hemet Jungle Hunter. He's a 6-cost, 6/6 neutral legendary with the battle cry, destroy all cards in your deck that cost 3 or less.
What? What? But what? What?
Alright. So, as you can see, that was my first reaction when I saw this card.
Mine too.
Because it's just...
What? What? But what? What?
And I'm just going... Okay. Okay. Literally, how do I make this work? Because I saw it at like 3 in the morning, because I watched the Trump video when he actually posted it. And Oh my god, Trump, that was, if anything, one of the most bananas videos for a card release that I've seen for Ongoro.
And don't forget our friend Frodan. Let's just destroy our whole deck.
Yeah, but it's just, I went to bed going, okay, how do I make this work? How do I make Hemet? How do I make Hemet Jungle Hunter work? One of the first things that kind of like creeped up online, as well as like crossed my mind, was the ideal of being able to use the Marsh Queen quest to just get it done, then play Hemet, destroy whatever's left in the deck. Next, or at least 3 cost or lower, what's left in the deck. Next turn, we play the Queen herself to be able to refill the deck. And then after that, we just start going off with the 1/1s and being able to charge and doing everything else with it. Like, that's one of the biggest and best, like, things that I've seen so far surrounding Hemet Jungle Hunter to make it actually viable and work. And then, like, I also was able to get a peek today at the new Druid quest, which we'll get to later on. And I'll come back to Hemet again. But it's just, how do you make this work? Because you literally have that moment of just, and you can't escape it. So it's just, okay, Bulb, how do we make Hemet work?
You take him out back and shoot him. I don't know. There are some interesting examples, but again, I'm not sure people will want to dilute their decks that much. Because I want to give the Marsh Queen example. Sure, you can get rid of those 1-drops, but given the amount of really solid low-cost drops that we've seen for Hunter, that may not be a good idea. I'm not going to say it. I don't think it's a good idea. Yeah, that means those little raptors are going to be mingled in with a lot of other low-cost stuff, but we'll be getting to some of the other Hunter stuff that has been revealed. They cost 3 or less, and they are super powerful. I don't think you want to use Hemet in that deck, and if you do, okay, fine. When my deck goes up against you, I'm going to have some really boosted stuff. Maybe you can use it as a Druid, but I don't know if Druid's going to be running a lot of low-cost stuff anyway. They're going to be ramping kind of hard, and they still might want some of that lower-cost stuff that's going to be useful for, I don't know, removal or draw or whatever they need. And really, we have not talked about the Druid quest at all, but after some point, you don't want Hemet in your deck at all. It's going to be very dangerous in the Druid deck. So I'm not really sure. There might be a way to use them, but I think this might be a card that even if you could use them into a deck, you might want to stand on the side of caution and, I don't know, don't. So yeah, I actually am thinking, because this is a card I'm actually going to steer clear of. But I do have a contingency plan that, for example, if he decides to show up in my legendary deck, like Malkazar summons him or something like that, I do have a plan to make him useful there, and which is basically, at that point, diluting some of the lower cost stuff. Maybe Shadow Visioning in to make sure I can get to whatever I need if I don't have it yet, and then Hemet, and then live with the consequences. Because we're going to have to focus on minions only, and that also might get rid of some really low-cost minions or whatever I don't want showing up later on. But to be fair, I think his uses are few and far between, and more often than not, it's better to stay on the side of caution and not summon him. I think he'll be a great random summon on your board by several things, but as far as playing him yourself, I might say, okay, you might consider it. I would suggest don't. Let Hemet wander the jungle all alone until somebody else can find a home, or in the jungle you must wait until somebody plays a 6 or 8. I don't know. Was that all you had to say about Hemet?
Go, mate.
So next up we have Blazecaller, which is a 7-cost 6/6 elemental with the battle cry. If you play an elemental last turn, deal 5 damage. So, how you guys liking the elemental deck so far? They're going to be very strong, especially Shaman, and yeah, this is going to be played. I think you're going to play a 1 of it. I don't think you're going to play a lot of high-cost elementals, but I think this one will definitely be able to be played. And the curve leading up to this is going to be a really cool card. So yeah, this will see play.
If anything, if I'm playing this with my like elemental mage or whatever, I'm playing 2 of this bad boy because I can take the Firelance Portal. I could take 1 or the 2, however many I was going to run, out of the deck and play Blazecaller. Guaranteed 6/6 on board, as well as being able to do 5 damage from him.
Oh, so
yeah!
So you're planning on playing Elemental Mage, are you?
It's one of the test types I'm considering.
That might explain you running 2. If you're playing Shaman, you're running 1 of these, because Shaman already has a lot of big cost elementals. You don't want to dilute the deck with too many of them.
Oh yeah, you really don't want to do it as far as like late game goes. And plus, there's like a lot of elementals that also kind of came out and dropped today that went neutral. As well as some of the class legendaries, or not legendaries, but class elementals that you got to see with Shaman. And it's just like, that is just unholy. Like, I already see Elemental Shaman being one of those top tier decks out there. I really do. And I mean, it's just from seeing this stuff, it's figuring out how you're going to want to craft it and make it. But with, like, Blazecaller going in, definitely 1. Because, like, you can go turn 6, I'm going to play Fire Elemental. And depending on where I want to shoot it, 3 damage, maybe you want to go 3 damage face. Blonk. Blazecaller, 5 damage face. Blonk. Kalimos, 6. At that point, you go 14 damage direct in a matter of 3 turns. It's nutty, but at the same time, it's just elemental decks. They're gonna be a thing. And they're coming. And it's just like, So, if anything, Bulb, are we good there? Now, another reason why we say run 1 of this is because of the Servant of Kalimos. It's a 5-cost, 4/5 elemental battle cry. If you played an elemental last turn, discover an elemental. If anything, I think I called this when Bob and I were talking privately. I knew they were going to do a discover an elemental sort of thing, and when they decided to make Ragnaros an elemental, bye, buddy, you gotta go, because, for one, you already pop up in enough people's decks as it is. Alongside the Servant of Kalimos, you are way too strong to be running around in Ungoro Town at this point, because you would have so much value and you would be one of the cards that people would definitely just auto grab and snatch and pick. And just with Servant of Kalimos, you're running this in your elemental deck. I'm saying you're probably running 2 of this in your elemental deck, so that way you have more value to be able to just pull from elementals and just be able to get from them. Oh, good grief, the elementals are coming, and I can't wait. Bulb, go.
Like I said, every tribe kind of needs a Discover card for them. We went over this last time when we talked about Murlocs. Servant of Kalimos is exactly what the Elemental tribe needed. It's neutral, so all the Elemental decks can use them. Because, of course, that's what you need, is you need it to be neutral. And just the fact of Discover is just such a strong card, to have for this type of deck type. And yes, you're pretty much, if you're running an elemental deck, you run 2 of these suckers. This is going to be a must-have card. It's going to be a meta-defining card, and it's a pretty cool card overall.
Oh yeah.
So next up, we have Ravenous Pterrordax, which is a 4-cost 4/4 Warlock Beast with the battle cry, destroy a friendly minion to adapt twice. Which is interesting. There's been a lot of speculation about why Warlock is getting a beast. The reason for me is, number one, is a dinosaur. You're going to have a lot of dinosaurs, you're going to have a lot of beasts, number one. They're not pushing Beast Warlock. But, number two, because I don't think they want this to have, synergy with anything else Warlock has. It's going to be powerful enough adapting twice the way it is. I don't think they want it to get buffed up by any demon buffing cards or any other synergies that Warlock has. So they're giving Warlock an off synergy card to play in a deck if they decide to. I think Warlock might actually play this. I think the suggestion was actually potentially Zoo. But it's a very interesting card. We'll see where it goes. And yeah, I think mainly Zoo will play it. I don't think we'll see it in a lot of other decks, to be honest.
Yeah, this has got its home in Zoo. Being able to get rid of something like your Possessed Villager, or the Possessed Villager token, or like just a very small / tiny minion to be able to adapt twice with the Ravenous Pterrordax. It's definitely something that will go in for Zoo, and like there's no doubt in my mind that they'll play it. How are we looking?
Keep going. I think
the last Kaleidosaur.
This is the last card.
Alright, the last card that we're going to get in for this video is the Last Kaleidosaur. Fitting. It is the Paladin quest card. You cast 6 spells on your minions, and the reward is Galvadon. And Galvadon is your 5-cost 5/5 beast with the battle cry, adapt 5 times. Alright. There are a lot of great effects that you would want for Galvadon. Not being able to be targeted by spells, stealth, increase the attack, Wind Fury, increase the health, taunt, Divine Shield, like, yeah. But with Galvadon, because got to be able to see it in true proper action. Oh dear God, can this card be a game finisher? And that's where I can honestly say that it terrifies me a little bit. But I do have answers for you, Galvadon. And that is, of course, this new metagame. Because, for one, if Hunters are going to be played, you're getting hit with Deadly Shot. I don't care if you're stealthed. Deadly Shot, you're dead. Big Game Hunter. I honestly see that seeing a resurgence. Number 3 at this point? It's going to take a while to be able to ramp up minions on my side of the board to be able to complete this quest. So, With Galvadon, you have to plan ahead of time. If you decide to, go whole hog and go into wild with him, and you're able to combo out with Bran and Galvadon, GG, you deserve to win at that point for being able to adapt 10 times. Have fun, go crazy with Galvadon. I think, if anything, as far as the Paladin quest goes, it's very good. I'm so torn, mainly because I don't know how the meta's going to shift out on how much play Galvadon will get to see. So, Bulb.
Yeah, I initially thought this was probably the worst quest. It was probably like because I felt in some ways I still kind of feel that Paladin kind of got the shaft, and I felt that they ultimately got the shaft with this quest. However, we did see it in motion today, and I forgot that there are easier ways to just set this quest off. So I now think it's actually not as bad as I thought. It will probably be easier than I thought to get Galvadon out, and Galvadon is essentially almost a game ender unless you can figure out a way to take him out immediately. That being said, I'm not sure if we're going to see that many Paladins really run this thing. I don't know. I don't know where Paladin's going to go. I really don't know where Paladin's going to go. So I don't think this is as good a quest as a lot of the other ones we've talked about, and the ones we are going to talk about. I don't think it's the worst quest, because I have one in mind for what I actually think is the worst quest in the set. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I honestly, I think if we're going to talk about a buffeting Eddie, I think more people might still prefer maybe trying hand buff to get just bigger creatures overall. Instead of on the board buffs to just try to get Galvadon out. I mean, they're two entirely different decks, and you're gonna have two entirely different win cons. We might see a control Paladin meta, but again, I feel that there are tools that Paladin needs that they're just not getting. So I don't know. I still think that Paladin might be the class that might be the worst off going into this new meta. But I do think that it has some archetypes that, now that we expect the meta to slow down, that actually might start seeing some play. So, yeah, I don't think this is a great quest. I don't think it's as bad as I initially thought, but I'm not sure what Paladin players are going to be doing overall.
Yeah, if anything, I do have some ideas that I'm already mentally tinkering with. One of which might go the route of, like, hand buff Elemental Paladin. Because, like I said, I'm a bit loco when it comes to things, so...
But we'll call it for now. We have a lot more to come, and we're going to be spacing these out so that we'll have everything ready and all of our reactions and discussions of these cards before the release on April 6th, and we hope to see you in the jungle then.
Yeah.
Bye.